A lot of what Matthew records from this point forward is the rise of hostility towards Jesus. So his ministry has migrated to its prominent place of popularity, and then you begin to see, as we often do, when the gospel advances, even in our day, a sense of animosity and rejection, not only to the person of Jesus, but to the message that he is portraying and trying to speak of his kingdom specifically. And he denounces these cities and says, in essence, that they are equating themselves to a worse degree than Sodom and Gomorrah, and we know God's judgment that fell there. And it's because of the rejection of Christ and this sense of pride that often leads to rejecting the truth. It's pride in our heart, if you will recall. It's really the first essence of sin that we see in the fall of Satan is pride, where he saw himself as equal with God, as one who not only was equal with God, but thought he should share in God's kingdom, although he is a created being, an angel. That sense of pride that is there is really at the core and the essence of all the sin in our own life, where we see ourselves as self-sufficient, or we reject the truth. This happens when the gospel is rejected. We'll see that Sunday in the parable of the sowers, but we see it in our own lives when we reject the truth of God's word and delay obedience. We say, I'll deal with that another time, or I won't submit to the authority of God's word. And what you have found in your own life to be true is that when you do that, when you reject the truth of God's word as a child of his, it leads to weariness and restlessness. It leads to a sense of heavy loads that you are inept to carry. And I think the Lord allows those things to happen and those loads to become heavy to lead us back to the original place where we belong, which is in submission to him and to his lordship, where he is at work in our life, orchestrating our days. And yet, when we think we are independent of his work or independent of his help, he often allows us to walk in those seasons of rebellion and bear the weight of those loads so that we would understand what he says here in Matthew chapter 11 to be true, as a reminder and as a call for us to return to him.